Welcome to the party, everybody. Sean Palmer here. Seth came in somewhere. I mean, it is tax season, which means Seth Kamens may or may not show up. It's also our baseball preview, which means Seth Kamens may or may not show up. It goes to both. Oh, and here's the illustrious Seth Kamens right now.
The illustrious one.
Illustrious. I said it's tax.
Homeless look, right? I'm going for the homeless look right now.
I said that there were two things going on. A, it's tax season. Seth may or may not show up. And B, it's our baseball preview, which Seth may or may not show up. A little bit of A or a little bit of B, right? So I got my Mets t-shirt on for today. We're going to get to that in a second. First, Thursday night, how you feeling? Tomorrow night, how are we feeling?
I feel good.
All right.
Look, I'm more concerned, to be honest. I don't know if you've been seeing what's going on with Maryland sports right now. We are a clusterfuck.
No, I've been seeing what's been going on with our country in the last 4
years. Oh, well, yeah. Well, obviously that's a clusterfuck. But no, our AD quit. It was pushed out by our coach.
He went to SMU, right?
He went to SMU.
Yes.
And our coach won't resign because he wants more money for NIL.
Right.
But there's no athletic director to assign this. And he's Villanova's top choice.
Well, okay. So a couple of things here. Number one, a Big Ten AD is going to an ACC school. So that's number one, which is surprising to me that anybody would ever go that route. But
no, SMU's a little bit different breed.
But SMU's got all this.
They got a lot of money.
They got a lot of this. That's why they're in the ACC to begin with, because they got a lot of this. And they're in Dallas, which means they got a lot of this. Your coach is, instead of staying at a Big Ten school, is looking to go to a Big East school. It's just, why? Why? Look, here's the bigger question for me. Is Villanova a better job than Maryland right now?
This is the thought process. Maryland has an NIL budget of $21 million.
Sure.
So it's how do you allocate? So as of now, Maryland's getting, football's 14, men's basketball's 4 and change, women's basketball's $1 million, and the rest is the rest.
Sure.
Villanova has nothing else.
That doesn't mean they have an NIL budget to begin with. They don't make it.
They have an NIL budget of $8 million. It's
okay.
All men's basketball.
Sure, because they're one AA football school.
Exactly. So maybe a little bit of women's, I don't know. But for all intents and purposes, it's all men's basketball. Maryland, if Maryland's limit is $21 million, they don't have $8 million. They don't have the extra money.
And by the way, that is ridiculous because they get $35 million from the Big Ten every year, at least. Right?
Don't ask. I don't know how it works. Honestly, this is where you should be working right now in this capology world.
Well, that's the next thing I wanted to get to in a minute, but let's go through our brackets. Hold on. I want to see how much money does Maryland get from the Big Ten. Let's see. According to AI, they made $48.8 million in revenue sharing to the Big Ten in 2022. In 2023, they made $57.1 million. And their revenue percentage from Big Ten Network, March Madness, and bowl games is $52 million. So they have $100 and some odd million playing here. Now, granted, that takes care of their whole budget. That's not just NIL. I get that. But really? Just a couple more.
Well, hopefully one of my clients will sell his company soon, and he is a Maryland alum. And he actually called me yesterday to fly me out to San Francisco for the Sweet 16.
Wow!
I can't go.
Will he fly you to the Final Four?
I don't know. So let's get there first.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd like to point out that in the one bracket that I'm in, I just looked it up first time. I'm in second place. I have
yes,
no
because
idea.
I am in first.
No. I'm not in the same bracket you are. I still
Okay.
have my two Final Four. I still have my two finals. I think I got 3 out of the 4 final. No, I got all 4 final. Do I have all 4 Final Fours? Nope, I got 3 out of the 4 Final Fours because Clemson decided to lay an egg against McNeese State.
That was sensational performance.
And Kadir Copeland, my boy, who left Syracuse to play with McNeese State. So, yeah, but I still got 3 out of the 4. I still got Auburn, Maryland, and Duke. So far, and I still got my 2 finals being Duke and Auburn. So I am in second place. Yay! I mean, look, I don't think I'm going to stay there. Oh, no, this is with – oh, oops. This is with you. Yeah.
You are in second place. That is correct.
I think this is a different bracket. Oh, I thought this was the one I actually was in the money with. No, this is with you. You are 47 points and I am 42.
And I have higher upside.
You do. You have 100.
I have better long-term potential.
In a pool in which neither one of us spent money. Congratulations. Well done. Well done. I'll make it back on the NFL draft. I'll make it back. I promise. This year, I believe the NFL draft's mine this year. But we'll see. But all right, so you give me some prognostication about tomorrow night.
I think it's a sensational matchup. I mean, we could not have played any worse.
Wait. Sensational meaning it's going to be a good game, or this is the best you could hope for as far as an opponent?
No, I think it's a great game.
Okay.
I think we could not have played any worse. Colorado, look, we shouldn't be here. Colorado State completely outplayed us. But we did enough. Now and it's very rare where you see the mid major get all of the calls, except for the last one. Clifford should have been out of the game in the first half after he elbowed the guy to the face, and they didn't even call a foul. But look, we got outplayed, we got outcoached, we got out everything. But we had Derek Queen, and they did not.
And now you go against UConn and Danny Hurley, who can't seem to shut his mouth.
What are you talking about?
Oh, why am I saying UConn? Sorry, Florida. Well, Danny Hurley still can't shut his mouth.
No, he can't. He's not exactly what you call a gracious loser.
No. So from somebody that has not watched a whole lot of college basketball this year, because when your team sucks, you tend not to watch as much. Give me a preview of Florida. What am I looking at? So I've watched a good amount of Maryland because I watch for the sake of you. And I watch for the sake of seeing if Carly is going to agree to letting you go. I am totally looking forward to this conversation at some point. So give me some nuggets about Florida that I got to look at.
I mean, I'm not sure exactly what nuggets you're looking for. Look, Walter Clayton Jr. has probably been, other than Connor Flagg and Jula Broom, the best player in the country this year.
Okay, well, that's a nugget. For somebody that's never watched Florida play, who am I looking at? What am I looking
Well, you're watching him. He's the point.
Okay.
And they're very deep. They got guys like Elijah Martin and Will Richard, and they're good. They're very good. But let's be honest, they got outplayed by UConn. They won on a ridiculous three-pointer by Clayton, and because UConn forgot to box out 2 free throws.
Okay.
That was not the game of a team that looked like they were a national champion. And to be fair, either did Maryland. So I think both teams got it out of their system. I think the real question is this. Maryland's going to be able to stay in this game. Florida's deeper, but I'm not overly concerned about depth. We can go 7 to 8 deep. That's what we got. Florida can go 9 to 10. I don't think you really need to go 9 to 10 in the tournament game. I think these are pretty much 2 of the 3 best teams in the country. I think they both got their bad game, kind of their game out of the way. I think it's going to be really good. I also think Derek Queen's the best player on the floor. And I think Maryland's going to win this game.
And when you have
maybe I'm biased and we lose by 16. Who the hell knows?
Look, and when you have the best player on the floor, you have a great chance of winning in general. Now, let's look at it from the other side. Texas Tech is in it against Arkansas. I don't think this is too big of a game. Like, I think this is a mismatch. I think Texas, you had said yourself, you believe Texas Tech is one of the top teams in the NCAA tournament, even as a 3 seed.
Yeah, I mean, the seeds are the seeds. I mean, we talked about it. I thought the Wisconsin seed was ridiculous as a 3. Texas Tech was a legitimate 2-3, and they play great defense. JD Toppin is the Big 12 player of the year. Elijah Hawkins is really good. Like, they're a really good, tough team, and they can shoot. They shoot a lot of threes, and they're playing an Arkansas team. Well, I mean, look, I don't know if you saw any of that Arkansas St. John's game because you were out in Macon. All
I saw was Rick Pitino pissed off.
Well, that game, that felt like 1990s Knicks Heat, where no one could shoot.
I love it.
And they just beat the crap out of each other.
It's my favorite game. It's actually my favorite game, but I understand that.
Yeah. I think Texas Tech is better. Look, Arkansas's got DJ Wagner. They got Boogie Fland. They have talent. I just think Texas Tech's a better team.
So here's a question for you. Let's presume we called last week. We had a discussion where we stated that Pitino you had stated that Pitino may be on the Mount Rushmore of coaches, right? Okay. Let's presume that John Calipari gets to the Final Four with this Arkansas team. Now that means he has to beat Texas Tech, and then he has to be either Florida or Maryland. And let's say he beats Maryland. That is how many teams that he's taken to a Final Four? UMass, Kentucky, right? Memphis, and now Arkansas. Is that close, if not there, to where Pitino is?
I think he has to win the second national title.
Okay.
I mean, which is weird because Memphis was, as you know,
Mario Chalmers shot away.
For those of you
who are new to the program,
11 years ago, hell, half of you may not have been born. Or we were watching the game at the same time, and one of us was on a 10-second delay,
and we were on a defunct chat message program called AOL Instant Messenger at the time. And Seth was 10 seconds behind in the game. As you know, sometimes you see a later feed, right? And a delayed feed. And Mario Chalmers hits a 3-pointer, which if you have not seen the shot, go find it on YouTube. It is an incredible shot. And I said, what a shot. And Seth said, wait, what? And then 10 seconds later, he goes, fuck you. And I'm like, so I basically ruined one of the great shots in college basketball history for Seth. So sorry, not sorry. It just is what it is. It goes into the Seth and Sean sports lore, if you will, of things that we can talk about. It also in that lore will be when Seth does or does not go to the Final Four next weekend. So that will be in the lore because I am hoping that you get the chance to go. I really do. Final Fours are very, very special. So I will, and I think you regret not going to the one that you won the national championship to.
I do.
Yeah.
I do not regret not going to the one the year before we lost to Duke. I do regret significantly the other one.
It's really hard. Well, first of all, the amount of let me ask you this, though. You should always go to a Final Four. If your team makes it and you have the ability to go, my take has always been you go. Syracuse has never been the favorite in any of the tournaments that they've gone to.
No, that's not why I don't regret going. There's nothing to do with the favorite or not favorite.
No, the fact that they lost doesn't have anything to do with it?
Nothing to do with it.
Okay.
I was at one of my first bachelor parties with a buddy with buddies of mine. We all went to Maryland together. We were fraternity brothers together.
Fair enough.
That's why.
From now on, I will say this. I've been to three Final Fours, and I missed the one in 96. If you have the opportunity and the means, you go. I will say that because you never know when you're getting back. And truth be told, I'm not sure the next time Syracuse will be anywhere close to a Final Four, let alone go to a Final Four. So if you have the opportunity, if you have the means, you go. You figure out.
Yes.
I have slept on people's floors to go to a Final Four. So I would suggest, highly suggest going if you have that opportunity. All right. What are your surprises in this tournament, if any?
Oh, let's take a quick look through the region.
I mean,
So
obviously, Clemson losing the first round kind of kicked the crap out of my bracket and was pretty surprising to me.
that was the worst first half. I actually, that is the worst first half of basketball I remember from a tournament team. It takes a lot. I mean, a lot to have more turnovers than points in a half.
Yep.
Okay, so I just open the bracket right now.
First of all, let me say mea culpa before we go any further. Mea culpa to Michigan, who I didn't think was going to make it out of the first round. I did not believe they deserved to be a 5 seed. I had no respect for this team, none, after what they did in the Big Ten tournament. And you know what? I was wrong. They're in the Sweet 16 against Auburn. I think they're going to lose. I think Auburn's the best team in the country. But they made it as a 5 seed, withstood the 5-12, obviously, knockout, which Colorado State beat Memphis. Very happy to see that, by the way. By the way, is Penny Hardaway on thin ice?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
He's look, I realize why, but he's still a legend there. It's hard to fire the hometown legend.
Yep.
And when he's done a pretty decent job, I mean, they have not been a good tournament team.
Yeah.
I said decent. I didn't say phenomenal.
So 2 12 seeds win, right? Colorado's
And McNeese.
McNeese and Colorado State. Colorado State beats up on Memphis. Drake wins. Props to me on Drake. But then Drake loses. Bad. As an 11 seed, winning 1 game is enough. But overall, who have you been impressed by besides Cooper Flagg?
BYU.
Yeah.
I thought BYU was – I thought they would beat – I did think they would beat Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I can't believe how well they – how just their scoring is just phenomenal. I think Tennessee has looked really good. I think Ole Miss is playing really good ball. Look, I think there's 3 underdogs. I think there's 3 really live underdogs just going through. Maybe 3.5. I give Michigan half a shot against Auburn. I think Michigan's really tough to defend. You have 2 7-footers who can move and who can really play. I just don't know if Donaldson can handle Auburn's guards. I'm just going through. I think Duke beats Arizona. I don't think Arizona's that good. Although Alabama has not been impressive. To be fair, I didn't see much. I didn't see the St. Mary's game, but in St. Mary's is tough. Alabama did not look good against Robert Morris at all. BYU has looked good. I think they're a live underdog. Ole Miss seems to be on kind of just one of those rolls. I would never really bet against Izzo, but I think they're live. I think we're live. I don't know how anyone can't think we're a live underdog in this game as good as Florida is. I think Texas Tech wins. I don't think Kentucky's that good. I think Tennessee beats them, although it's hard to beat it. I forget, one of them has beaten the other twice. It's hard to beat a third team in a row. I just think it's inevitable you're going to see Tennessee and Houston really, and that's going to be just a monster game.
Well, Tennessee and Houston will be a track meet. It'll just go up and down and up and down.
They're just going to beat the crap out of each other too. Incredibly physical.
Yeah.
I do think the winner of Florida Maryland goes to the final. Look, I picked Maryland to win the national title. Am I biased? Yeah, a little bit. But I also have legitimately, and you know this, I thought they've been that good all season, or at least the last 2 months. I do think the winner of Maryland Florida goes to the Final Four. I think the winner of Auburn. I think Auburn goes. Am I overly confident? No. I think Duke goes, and I'm more confident now than I was in the beginning of the year, beginning of the tournament. I just don't think Alabama has been that impressive.
And
I don't
Duke,
know if
Duke has done what Duke needs to do. And
yeah. To be fair, also they beat a mediocre Baylor team, so I'm also not going to crazy about
as the 1 seed, they have the right to do that, right? That's
Yeah.
part of that's part of being the 1 seed is that you get to play mediocre teams to get
Yeah,
to
I mean, look,
now.
I was hoping. I mean, how great, honestly, would it have been to have Duke, Maryland, in the Sweet 16? That's what I was really. I think that.
No, you didn't. You wanted it, but you didn't want it. That was the thing.
No, I wanted it. I full-fledged wanted it.
See, I'm not sure you want it. Like, I think that you are definitely better off here. Duke's the 1 seed overall. Why would you want the 1 seed?
Florida's the hottest team in the country. I mean, that they're the hottest team doesn't. The ones look, any of these 1 seeds are very good. I mean, the interesting thing is we've talked. There's no Cinderella here.
Yeah.
And which is, kind of you like having a couple real upsets. There really wasn't any big one this year.
Oh, besides McNeese State.
McNeese but it was a 5-12 with Will Wade as your coach. It's not a monster.
Sure, that's fair. I think it's interesting, and I look the talk around the tournament and stuff that I've read is while we understand that we always want a Cinderella, the idea of a Cinderella will be less and less noticeable over the course of time. Because with NIL now, those Cinderella teams, those players that play 3 or 4 years on the same team, won't be playing 3 or 4 years on the same team. So those Butler teams that had continuity, there will be lack of continuity because there will be players that get too good. And then they
will move up.
And they'll just move up. And it is interesting, and I'm just going to play one note for Syracuse here in that J.J. Starling and Donnie Freeman said that they were coming back next year. They said that yesterday. I don't care what they say yesterday. I'm not going to care what they say until they suit up for game 1. And then even when they suit up for game 1, they can transfer after game 1 to go to game 2.
By the way, how ridiculous it is that the portal is going on while the tournament's going on.
Well, there's a couple of things here. Number one, a Michigan player entered the portal while they were playing. So that's number one. And that's mind-boggling. Number two, 1,600 players have entered the portal since the portal opened last week. 1,600 players. That's number two. Number three, the portal's open for basketball, but remember the portal was open for football before the bowl season.
Yeah, we had the guy from Penn State, the backup quarterback transferred.
Right.
It's absurd.
But is it? When would you like these portals to be opened?
The week after?
Okay, so you're going to open.
You're telling me there's a difference between opening it March 15th versus, or I guess it was March 25th versus April 15th?
I think it's a little bit more in the football than it is in the basketball because it's a month and a half. But if you open it on April 15th, you have a month left of school, right? That I get it.
These are not college students. Let's keep this in perspective here. Most of these people are not transferring for a better education.
How many of those players are going to make it to the pros?
1%, 2%.
Well, not even of the 1,600. How many of them are making it to the pros?
Say the same percentage.
Right.
Say 5%.
So while they're not transferring for education, they are transferring for a better something, right? Whatever that's something.
No, they're transferring most likely to make more money.
Right, which is what I'm saying. So why not?
I'm not look, the box is open. I'm not saying you're putting it back in.
So what do you want to do?
Put it after the season is over. I don't think you can do it during the season.
Okay, and are you able to have coaches leave during the season? Because Will Wade left. Is he allowed to leave?
I don't think they should.
And he left before he was announced before they even played that game.
I know.
By the way, his replacement is the assistant on LSU that got caught on the wiretap. So
it is what it is at this point. There's no good answer for me. Do you think if Walter Clayton Jr. decides if he wants to transfer 2 days before the biggest game of his career, do you think that's fair to his teammates?
of course not.
Now, again, to be fair, I don't know if anyone who's in the Sweet 16 who's announced. Again, it could be.
Yes, there is. There's a Michigan player that announced that he's transferring.
Oh, that's right. That's what you had said. But yeah, I think it's ridiculous. I think it's unfair to the players. I think it's unfair. Look, I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying I don't think it should be done until the tournament is finished.
Well, and that's part of, I guess what you say, it's part of the character of the person too, right? Is that you look at the person and whether, so let's say Florida, I have no basis for Florida, or I'm going to say Florida State. Florida State takes a guy that's still in the tournament from Florida, right? And it shows that he will transfer 2 days before Florida's biggest game. What's to say that he won't do that next year before Florida State's biggest game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is all part of the character concept, I guess. But there's no right answer here, because unless you're going to prohibit the coaches from doing the same, which has been, truthfully told, that's been the argument the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Leave. Why can't players leave? Right? So
because players supposedly were not professionals. Now
right.
They really are.
But we know that's garbage. And
no, I'm saying now right. It is what it is.
And I will tell you the most shocking thing. So there's a guy that transferred to St. John's there. I forgot what college he went to, but he was one of the best guys in the portal. I can't remember his name. Darn it. He went to St. John's.
Richmond?
Trying to find it. No.
Richmond.
Sanon. Sanon. So he went from ASU to St. John's to play for.
When? Last year? This year?
He played freshman this year. A former Arizona State.
I didn't know if it happened already. Okay.
Yeah, it happened today. Okay. Now, in the third paragraph of this ESPN article, and then we're going to get to the baseball preview. We'll do that in 20 minutes. It says, and I quote, the number 23 ranked player in the 2024 high school class, Sanon watched St. John's take on Georgetown MSG in March 24th, 2024. Before originally committing to Arizona State, his agent, Derek Malloy of Lift Sports, told ESPN. Okay. The concept that these guys have agents is what got me to that article, right? I get it. I get that they were supposed to have advisors, but now to flat out say you have agents, I just don't like it. All right. So we got about 25 minutes to talk about Major League Baseball, which Seth knows very little.
It's very funny. Every time we have this discussion, you tell me how little I know.
And I'm surprised. Stop. All right, fair enough. Okay. Of which Seth will not pay any attention to until August. Fair?
Fair.
All right. So these predictions that Seth is going to make and I will monitor over the course of time, and Seth will come back in August and said, who did I pick? Is that also fair? All right.
Fair.
So, all right. Who will have a better record, Yankees or Mets?
Mets.
Ooh, I like it. I agree with that. Okay. Who will have a better record, the Astros or the Rangers?
The Rangers.
I will take the Astros. Okay. Who will have a better record? I don't want to do that. The Giants or the Padres?
I'm going to go with. Here's the problem. If I'm going to go with the Padres, but if the Padres are out of the wild card, they're gonna pretty much have a fire sale.
That is true. 100% sure that will happen. And
they'll trade Cisse. They'll trade Cisse. Like they're gonna. So yeah.
And the Giants will not. The Giants are committed. All right. So the Tampa Bay Rays are playing in George Steinbrenner Stadium, right? We have a
correct.
Okay. George Steinbrenner Stadium holds 17,500 people. So over 81 games times 17,500, their maximum attendance is 1.41 million people. What will their attendance be this year? Over or under 1 million?
It'll be over 1 million. But the bigger question is, how many of those million are going to actually be rooting for the Rays?
I would say half, if half. Okay, I will also take the over. I actually think they're going to sell out most of their games. 17,500 people is not a lot of people.
No, that's about what my high school football stadium could hold. So we had a big high school football stadium.
So the Sacramento team, okay, total capacity is 14,000, and that is where the A's are playing this year. So for the next 3 years. So their total capacity is approximately 1.1 million. Okay. Tell me for the A's, are they over 1 million people?
No.
No for Seth. Okay. So A's under 1 million. I'm going to take the over. I think they actually sell out most of their games.
They have no fan base up there.
Yeah, but I think they've never had baseball up there. They've had AAA baseball. So I'm going to pick the over on that. Okay. And, okay. True or false, Tampa Bay has a stadium plan by the end of the summer.
False.
True or false, Tampa Bay is up for sale by the end of the summer.
True.
Okay. See, I'm going to take false on both. I think that good luck trying to tell an owner to sell because he's not going to do it. And I don't think they're going to have a plan either. And that's unfortunate because they need a plan. If you've looked at the crop, it is awful. It kind of looks like a dome without a dome, which is exactly what it is. Okay. Who wins your MVP for the American League? Ohtani is now in the National League, so you can't put him in the American.
Gunnar Henderson.
Ooh. Who's starting out on the injured list?
So we'll play 140 games. Still be enough. Or I'll go Bobby Witt Jr. Take your choice. I'll do one of the shorts.
I was going to take Bobby Witt. There is no doubt.
Bobby Witt's the easy pick.
I'm all about taking easy picks this year. Okay, Cy Young in the American League.
Garrett Crochet.
Okay, good. You did not say Garrett Cole.
Come on.
This is going to pain me to say this. Can you guess who I am picking? It's paining. It's painful.
R.A. Dickey?
No, but close enough. How about Jacob deGrom?
I was thinking of one of the Texans. Is he healthy now?
He's healthy. It is painful for me to say that he might win.
That's actually who I was thinking of when I said R.A.
Oh, did you? Okay. It's not R.A. Dickey. R.A. Dickey is like 52 years old right now.
But you get my point.
I do. It's an X-Men. Okay. It's painful, but I do believe he will win that. Okay. We got Rookie of the Year. Do you know any rookies in the American League?
In the American League, I can go. Look, I can go with Dominguez,
You could.
but yeah, I'm going to go Christian Campbell.
Look at you.
I read shit.
All right. Here's your rookie of the year candidate for me. He plays for Houston. He has played 32 games in the minors. He was called up yesterday to play right field. The guy has not played right field in one game. Cam Smith.
His what?
Cam Smith. Cam Smith of the Houston Astros. Okay. Who wins? Give me the division winners for the East.
Baltimore.
Okay.
Central. I'll go with Kansas City.
Okay.
In the West, Texas.
So far, we're 3 for 3. Okay, wild card.
I thought you had Houston over Texas with wins. How do you get 3 for 3?
No, I didn't have Houston over Texas with wins. Oh, did I?
Yes, you did. You literally just asked me that question.
Yeah, I did. I'm sorry. I didn't have Texas. Sorry. Yeah, Houston. Okay. Your wild cards, that's where I got Texas.
Boston. Seattle. Minnesota.
Really? No Yankee baseball in October this year. Okay.
I think the pitching's too much. I think Cole and Gill getting hurt's just too much.
Yeah, Cole's a big loss. All right. I'm going to take Texas. I'm going to play with my heart here rather than my head a little bit. Texas. I'm going to pick the Angels, which makes no sense. I know it makes no sense.
Is this 2017?
I'm
and
hoping.
Mike Trout is Mike Trout.
Look,
and Albert Pujols is still.
Well, here's the thing.
Runs?
Here's the thing. Okay.
Is CJ Wilson going to earn his contract numbers?
Like, you don't even have.
Is Anthony Rendon going to become Anthony Rendon?
Wait. Is Anthony Rendon going to play? So here's the thing. Number one, I don't think Boston is that good. Okay, so that takes them out. I don't think Seattle.
Okay, wait. Now look, I'm a Yankee fan, so it doesn't really thrill me.
Doesn't throw you.
You got Devers, who's a MVP.
Who's DHing, but DHing.
Fine.
So not
you brought in Bregman.
Yep.
You got Duran.
Yep.
You have a number one starter. It feels like you got a real team here for the first time in a while.
Okay, so Garrett Crochet, I get, right? Had a great year last year, has played very well in the spring so far. I get all that. He last year he pitched that's not right. It says he pitched 438 innings. That's not right.
What?
It does. It actually
was that on the Nintendo Wii?
No, it says it right here. He pitched 4. Look, I'm going to show you on ESPN. We should write ESPN because it absolutely shows that. Here, hold on a second. You tell me if I'm missing this. 2024. Does that not say 438 innings?
I can't tell, but I'll take your word for it.
Hold on, I'm making it bigger. Does that not
I'm
say?
I'm pretty sure that's not right.
I am too, but
that means on 32 games,
I know a lot.
13 innings per game. So
Look,
unless he thinks he's Harvey Haddix and this is
1959
and he pitched 7 of those games, I don't see how the hell he does that.
I guess my point is, hold on, 6. I'm going to do this. 163 minus 38. Yeah, it comes out to 438. So they messed up everything about him. My point about Garrett Crochet is he's been a number one pitcher once. He has not done this over time. So my point is that while he may be a number one pitcher today, he hasn't. Hold on.
You asked a bunch of questions. Let me ask you one.
By the way, last year, he pitched 146 innings. Okay.
Not 438.
You should.
Just making sure.
He pitched 146. The year before, he pitched 12. The year before, he didn't play. And the year before that, he pitched 54. This guy hasn't pitched a full season yet.
Fair. I'm just curious, though. I was just, you've asked your question. Of the top 5 teams in the majors, how many of them are in the American League? I think it's a very easy answer.
1?
Who?
Baltimore? Maybe?
I think it's 0.
Well, I said maybe.
Yeah.
All right, top five teams in Major League Baseball. 3 are in the National League East.
Agreed.
Philadelphia, the Mets, and the Braves. Yep. The top team in the entire baseball is the Dodgers. So that's correct. 4. So
I would probably
15.
Diamondbacks 5.
Okay, I can get behind that. I mean, I don't think it's true. I think the Orioles are better, but I can see your point. Okay, so I got
Who's Baltimore's number one? Who's Baltimore's number 1 pitcher? Who's their ace?
That's a good point.
Who's their number 2 pitcher?
Oh, I know Charlie Moore. I think Grayson Rodriguez is their 1 or 2. Hold on. Number 1 is Zach Eflin. Number 2 is Grayson Rodriguez. Number 3 is Charlie Moore.
Lineup. Morton.
Yeah, 40-year-old Charlie Moore.
Charlie Morton's older than I am.
Can I make the point that their lineup is the most complete lineup in the American League by far?
Yeah.
And the youngest one by far. So I
have them going to the World Series. I'm not arguing their talent.
Right.
I just don't. I mean, I think they're going to the World Series by default because I think it's like watching the NBA Eastern Conference for the last 10 years.
Oh, we got a whole different story to that. We'll talk more about that next week. Okay, so but your point being, I don't think Boston's pitching is that good.
They're not.
And if Crochet breaks down, they don't have a 1.
Yeah, it's the same issue. Yeah,
they don't have a 1. They don't have a 2. And to me, they're hitting. Yeah, they got 3 studs. No question. They got Devers, they got Duran, and Bregman may or may not be a stud. But other than that, they have holes all over that lineup. All over.
I just think the league is terrible.
It is. I think Kansas City might be better than Boston.
Okay.
Yeah. And that being said, I have them winning a division. I don't have Boston. So number 3, so the wild cards, Texas, the Angels. There is no way I can pick another team in this division. So
can you explain to me the Angels? I'm kind of missing out.
I said I'm thinking with my heart, not my head. I understand.
Okay. You just like Artie Moreno? Are you trying to get a job from him?
No, I just want to see Mike Trout in the playoffs for once.
He'll probably be hurt.
I'm hoping he's not. Maybe I'm just hoping. Okay, my third team, I'm going to pick the Cleveland Guardians because they completely surprise everybody every single year. And they might have the best pitching staff in the American League. And the pitching staff nobody's heard of.
Yep. Okay. Is Shane Bieber walking through that door?
Yeah, actually, he will be halfway through the year.
I think he is walking through that door.
He is. He's coming back. They just re-signed their top starter, Tanner Bibby, one of my favorite names in baseball. Gavin Williams, Luis Ortiz. Look, this team always seems to put together a good team, regardless. By the way, their backup, Dan Schneemann, is the backup at first base, second base, shortstop, left field, and center field. He is their.
Is he Jose Oquendo's illegitimate son?
He seems like it. I don't think I've ever seen.
Maybe Bert Campaneris' grandson.
I don't think I've ever seen a guy that's backing up 5 positions: left field, center field, shortstop, third base, and second base. That's a guy that if he plays, you want him in your fantasy team because he'll play.
It's Ben Zobrist Jr.
And wait, he's the second backup in right field. He's just not catching, and he doesn't play first base. Okay, National League, I will take it first. I have the Mets winning the NL East only because Acuna does not come back until mid-May, if not later than that. The Central Division, which is a cluster of epic proportions, I will take the Brewers to win, even though I don't feel great about it. And in the West, obviously, the Dodgers are going to win and win going away because their pitching staff could field 2 top 5s. Their top 5, their second 5, Seth, could be the first 5 on the Orioles. That's every single one of them, 6 through 10. Okay, wild cards. Well, we already talked about the Phillies and the Braves, right? Phillies
Do I get to pick, or do you want to just do your whole thing first?
I'm going to do my whole thing first, and then I'll get to you.
Okay.
Phillies and Braves. And I'm going to pick the Cubs. And I know I like the Diamondbacks too, but I'm going to pick the Cubs. So go ahead.
You just talked about how this division is an utter clusterfuck.
You could,
and
right.
You're going to be playing
because
mostly NL East and West teams, and you're going to take a Central team as a wild card?
Right. Because if your teams are that bad, then you beat up on your teams.
Someone's going to beat up on them. Okay.
That's why, look, I don't view the Nationals as any good. I don't view the Marlins as any good. So you got 3 teams that are going to beat up on those 2 teams. I don't view the Pirates as any good. And truthfully, I don't believe the Cardinals are going to be any good. That's 3 teams that are going to beat up on 2 teams. I think the Padres, the Giants, and the Diamondbacks are going to be pretty good. I don't think they'll be playoff teams, but they're capable every night of winning. The Rockies are going to shit the brick, but whatever. So, yeah, I think you're going to get 2 out of the Central. What do you got?
I'll take the Phillies. I'll take the Cubs. I'll take the Dodgers. And then I'll go Diamondbacks, Mets, and Braves as your wild card.
Hold on. Diamondbacks, Mets, Braves. Okay. Your MVP? Are you going to take the easy out?
Kyle Tucker.
Kyle Tucker. Okay. Hold on. Tucker.
Bet you didn't see that one coming.
I didn't, and I'm taking Juan Soto. Because the Mets are in the playoffs, and they're.
I think Chicago will be competitive.
I have them. I have
them winning the division. So yeah.
Playoffs. Okay. Cy Young. I'm taking Corbin Burns.
Yeah, that was kind of where I was going. I'll go Zach Wheeler.
Okay.
Another fond memory for you.
It was because we got 5 years of him for 2 months of Carlos Beltran, and what might have been the best trade the Mets have made in the last 25 years. The worst decision they made was not re-signing him. And your rookie of the year.
I mean, it's Suzuki. Who else could it be?
Yeah. You mean Sasaki?
Sorry.
Sasaki. The question is, how much does Sasaki actually pitch? Is they're going to pitch him in a 6-man rotation? And I mean, that's the rub, is how much.
I think the bigger question is, are the Dodgers going to lose more than 50 games, over under?
Wow. So they're go 112 and 50?
They're that good.
Are you picking them over 112?
I'm going to have them under, but I think they'll be about 105.
112 games. Hold on. I'm going to pick the under. I think having 105 is a lot.
That team is so ridiculously talented.
I know.
I know. 10 Hall of Famers on that team at this point.
Hold on. Dodgers over under. We're putting 105.
Hey, 100. Make it 105.
Okay, so you're over?
I'll go over on 105.
I'll take the under on 105. I think they may have 105, but I think it's going to be really close. 105. What is it, 105 and 57?
Yeah.
Right?
It's about 650.
Ladies and gentlemen, the all-time record is 116 wins
and they lost
by the Cubs.
And they didn't make the World Series.
Right, but they tied it. It was the Cubs and the Mariners, the best Mariners team there was, and they didn't make the World Series. They lost to your Yankees. Yeah, that was the Jamie Moyer series. Jamie Moyer, one of my favorite players. All right, so we got 10 minutes left. Before we don't know who's winning the World Series. I think fait accompli, the Dodgers beat the Orioles. Same for you?
Same for me. I have the Orioles over the Rangers in the ALCS. I have the Dodgers over the Braves in the ALCS, in the NLCS.
To be contrarian, I will take the Dodgers over the Royals. Not that that makes any difference whatsoever. But Bobby Witt makes a World Series, and everybody, while you and I know how good Bobby Witt is, I don't think the country knows how good this guy is. This guy is phenomenal. All right. All right. Well, that was a 20-minute baseball preview, so well done. Shall we move on to probably the most disappointing news of the week? And that's
the Giants signing Russell Wilson?
No, that's going to be our last 5 minutes. No. Okay. Well, we can talk about that now. And I can
No, what's the most disappointing news of the week?
Juju Watkins tearing her ACL.
Yeah.
I mean,
jeez.
There are very few times that I have looked at my phone in the morning and like you're either, okay, this happens, or this is sports, or you're terribly torn up, but you're not disappointed. I was emphatically disappointed by her tearing her ACL, not in her, just in the effect that this will have. And the first thing I thought of was, it's not just this year. She's out next year too. And this is not something look, torn ACLs are not something you can't come back from anymore. I mean, Paige Buchers is having a dream season, and she tore her ACL 2 years ago and sat out the whole year. So it's not as if this is a career ending by any stretch, but Juju Watkins was a breath of fresh air in women's sports.
Yeah, she was dynamic. She was personable. She's one of the 3 best players in college ball. She led a team that hasn't really been almost relevant since the Cheryl Miller days to a 1 seed and a potential run at the national title. It's terrible.
Yeah, it was now. I mean, look, she's 20. Is she 20? Like she's either 19, 20, or 21. She's in that bracket. So this will not affect, hopefully will not affect her long term. But the fact that we don't get to see her next year in what would likely have been her last college year is disappointing.
Well, she could take a medical red shirt if she wants to.
Of course.
Because remember, they get No, of
course. Of course she can.
Because remember, she could get paid more in NIL than she may be in the WNBA.
Well, that's the point, right? I said it may be her final year. It may not be. She may not get. I mean, I think she'll be drafted on potential if she does come out. She'll come out. She'll be a top 5 pick anyway in the WNBA. Remember, the WNBA only has 12 teams, so it's not like this is a huge leap for her to be a top 5 pick. Yeah, it's just really disappointing to see that with her. Okay, now we can talk about the stupidity of the week, which has nothing to do with our federal government, which, well, I don't know. It's kind of secondary to our federal government at this point. But all right, so if you tuned in last week, Seth was very, very excited by the notion that the Giants signed Jameis Winston. In fact, he said, "This is what I wanted all along." And
Sean, had I been saying that for weeks,
and Nostradamus over here got exactly what he wanted. And then this happens. Now, I see this as one of 2 ways. And I'm taking a little bit of this from ProFootball.com. The idea is that Russell Wilson is only guaranteed $10.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is that Jameis Winston is only guaranteed, I believe, $4 million of that $10 million. So it doesn't make them desperate to take a quarterback. It doesn't.
No, I don't mind this, assuming they don't take a quarterback at 3.
Well,
if they take a quarterback at 3, kick out the entire front office.
Well, if they take a quarterback at 3, this was just a smokescreen. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's a $4 million smokescreen.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I mean, to me, again, this is my thought. Look, the team's not going anywhere this year.
Correct.
Next year, you have 5 to 6 quarterbacks expected to go in the first round of the draft.
Correct.
So what am I thinking? I'm thinking you're going to trade Thibodeau to the Lions for maybe a second-round pick. You're going to take Carter from Penn State. Or if he's gone, then you don't trade Thibodeau and you take Travis Hunter. And if you have the extra second-round pick and you want to take a shot at Tyler Shaw, go ahead. And if you think he's your quarterback going forward, then you don't have to worry about a quarterback next year. That's the thought. Nothing else otherwise makes sense to me. Russell Wilson is 36 years old. The team is not winning more than 5 games. So if this is how you want to play it, I wouldn't do it this way. But fine. I just assume they're just not big on Sanders if you're drafting Sanders with this, then you're this fucking idiotic.
Okay. We have 4 minutes left. Actually, 3 now. I'd like to get, now that we've gotten sets out of the way, I'd like to get I got 1 minute here, and then I'll give you 2 minutes back. For the love of God, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name really well, but I'm going to do my best not to butcher it. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, the GM of the Vikings, who today said, don't rule out a pursuit of Aaron Rodgers. For God's sake, name JJ your first quarterback, QB1, please, and make me happy. Or if you are a Pittsburgh Steelers, please, Cam Hayward today comes back and says, yeah, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean all that about Aaron Rodgers. Art Rooney, do me a solid. Sign him. But I will tell you, one of the best articles I saw was about the Steeler fans' thought process about Aaron Rodgers. And they said, he's not our type. We don't want him. He's not a Pittsburgh Steeler. And this is a notion for Pittsburgh fans, and if you've ever gone to a Steeler game, you'll understand this. We talk about salt of the earth people. That's Pittsburgh. Like, there is nothing else. So if you are not a team player, if you are not a salt of the earth player, you're not going to get along in Pittsburgh. Hello, George Pickens. Hello, Deontay Johnson. Hello, once Antonio Brown went absolutely nuts. I mean, hello to all those players that didn't work out. He's not going to fit in there. It cannot end well, Seth. It can't. So I hope the circus comes to town in Pittsburgh and JJ is our number 1 QB. You have 1 minute to go, sir.
I'm curious. It's funny. I'm curious to see how the World Cup is going to go now. In 2026, we have it in Canada, Mexico, and the U.S.
Yeah, nobody can catch it.
And one of those places is not like the others. One of those probably don't belong. And I'm curious to see how it's going to go. And with the U.S. actually getting the 4th place in the Gold Cup, Pochettino, who's my favorite soccer coach in the world, got a long way to go in a year, buddy. Good luck.
Oh, I thought you were going to go a different way in that why would anybody come here if they may not be able
that's a given. That's a given.
Right. I mean,
that to me is a given.
You may come in via United and go out via military transport. I mean, it's you know what, ladies and gentlemen, we laugh because it's so absurd, but it's so true. And if you've tuned into this show, and we're going to go over by a second, if you tuned into the show at all, you know Seth and my feelings on this administration. This is ridiculous. Okay? I know you're laughing because you and I don't have that problem. But there are thousands of people in this country that are fearful of getting deported. And
I'm laughing because I have no idea where else to go with it.
Yeah. Well,
it's absurd.
Yeah.
This country is fucking absurd.
All right. For Seth Kamens, I'm Sean Palmer. At least we can talk sports because we seem to not be able to have freedom of speech for much else these days. Seth and Sean Sports Radio. We'll talk to you guys next week. Go Terps.